Hello there, welcome again to FFS Livestream. We are a community spirit program to try and encourage performers and industry people to hang out more, to have more conversations, to share their experiences and to support each other through the marathon of the Edinburgh Festival. You can get in touch with us via social media, via some of these links. You can email us, you can tweet us, you can Facebook us, and you can donate to our GoFundMe page. Please do that, because I want to eat something in September. With no ado at all, I'm going to welcome Gordon Sutherland. How are you doing?
Hi, very well. How are you?
I'm good. We are 2 weeks in. This is for lots. This is the hardest part of the Fringe. It's like 2 weeks in. We've got another week.
Yes.
How's it going so
It's
far?
it's the home stretch, I
is.
guess, and I'm very excited. I've got a day off tomorrow, which I recommend taking one day off if you're performing, and I'm booked in to see all those shows that live in my time slot.
3,000 shows.
I looked into it, and in the 2 hour window there were 535 shows.
Wow.
In the comedy section. That's not even looking at the other mediums.
So that's only got you out of like about a quarter of the programme.
Yeah, and it was
So no excuses for...
Out of all the shows I wanted to see, I went, I should really see my friends.
Yes.
So I'm seeing 2 friend shows tomorrow. I'm excited about that.
Wonderful. So you're spending your day off watching shows?
Watching comedy, correct.
Excellent. Well, I think some people have been in and said, oh no, your day off, you need to just get out and...
We were planning on going to Glasgow, and then, because my girlfriend's coming out today, in time for the day off, and it's like, well, she wants to get into the Edinburgh Fringe as well, so for me to whisk her away as soon as she got here would be selfish of me, so we're doing Edinburgh.
How many times have you been here before?
You just asked me that off camera. I first came to Edinburgh in 1991 as a student, putting on a play no one wanted to see and no one wanted to be in. And then I did sketch comedy with some uni mates from 93 to 99. And then I think my first ever solo show was 2001.
Right.
And I've been coming back on and off since then as just Gordon Sutherland.
Okay.
So about 58 fringes, I don't know.
It's 27, isn't it?
It's
Or
a lot, it's a lot,
years.
yeah.
How's it changed in that time, would you say?
Oh, it used to just be one tiny hut. It was great. We stood around a fire telling stories. It is a beast now. Every year they find a way to, multiply the amount of venues and the amount of things going on. And I'm staying just across Assembly Gardens. I walked past 60 venues and about 500 shows just to get here, and that's within 200 metres. It's insane. It's a beast.
And it's still going, still growing.
Still going, still growing. I think because the vanity of performers is limitless. So you'll be offered a deal like that. If you sell 200% of your tickets, you'll break even. And there's always a performer out there going, 200% of my tickets. It's a long shot, but I believe in me.
I'll take a shot on it.
I'll take a shot on it.
Yeah. Your show is so much more than the weather.
So much more than the weather. I'm doing a show for the first time, I think. Well, it's part of a trilogy, I realised afterwards, because in 2016, my father has very advanced dementia, and I wrote a show about that, and I did it in conjunction with Alzheimer's Scotland, and it just felt better than just doing comedy, because it was a campaign show.
Right.
And it was, reaching out and doing stuff for charity at the same time, so it felt good for me, and I hope the audience as well. And then the following year, the show was kind of about how my divorce was linked to Brexit and Trump, and they were basically the same thing. And this is the third part of the trilogy, and I like to think this is the redemption part. This is where I started to examine my mental health in the light of these events, because it's not easy losing a parent almost on a daily basis. It's not easy losing a spouse. So this show is my adventures, kind of my adventures in an endless double summer, because I do the comedy festivals in Australia, January, February, March, April, May. My life follows the summers around, but I wasn't really in control of my life, so I had to go and see therapists. And that's kind of, there's an A and a B story. The A story is the therapy stuff, that's the gripping part of it. And then the B story is how the double summers and the seasonal shifts of my mental space sort of have a dialogue with that.
Right.
That sounds really worthy. It's a stand-up comedy show. It's really funny. I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's an increasing amount of shows that are about causes, but that's great, isn't it? I mean,
I'm so delighted. On my day off, I'm seeing another show about another comedian's mental health.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us, mostly at tea time, who are getting into that, and I think it's great.
It makes it feel more worthy. I mean, we started this show to, on the surface, to open up this kind of conversation and make people share things more. I mean, really, I just wanted to interview Janine Garofalo. That was
You
really
set this all up?
Yeah, the whole
And did
thing.
she fall for it?
No.
Still nothing?
No, nothing at all.
Have her people talk to your people?
I think she may have finished by this point.
I've seen her around.
Ah, really?
Yeah, she's tiny. So it's amazing when you see a celebrity and you go, oh, not actual size.
But do you think people are becoming more willing to talk about, like,
I
mental health?
hope so. And I asked the question 5 minutes into the show, who's been in therapy? And most of the time, it's just women going, yep, like, not ashamed. And then you see men looking down into their pint glasses, almost muttering to themselves, oh, no, the answer to my problems are in this.
Right.
If not this one, then maybe the next one, and so on. And to have, at the end I do a little speech about the organisation, the campaign against living miserably, because the biggest killer of men, as you know, under the age of 45 is suicide. I want to address that. I want to open up conversations so that people aren't ashamed to talk before it's too late. And as people are filing out, I'll shake them by the hand, and now and again someone will just sort of go, well done, or I lost a son or a father or a brother to this, and I kind of wish we'd had a chance to go back and maybe it could have been another way. And that's priceless.
Yeah, we were talking in another interview about performers kind of wearing masks and like they're used to sort of playing a character, so
Absolutely.
maybe they're repressing a lot of
and to sort of just peek from behind it and go, I'm not okay, by the way. If you're not okay, that's fine too. And now here's some more jokes, because it's not easy to talk about it. So you don't peel it off totally. I think that would make for quite an uncomfortable experience for both. But if you can just sort of let it slip a bit and go,
and I think it's important.
Let's have a chat afterwards.
It's important for performers to do this because they're probably, everybody's got mental health.
Yeah.
To deal with.
Especially performers.
But accountants and financial controllers and everybody. But I think if the best chance we have to open the conversation is because performers will be willing to actually talk about it.
Well, we've got a forum.
There's no platform.
And in the same way that anyone in the public eye, I think, really has a duty of care and a responsibility to behave publicly and privately in a certain way, to a certain degree, because people sort of will go, well, we look to you for guidance. Why? Because you're on telly. And that, it doesn't actually make you any different from anyone else, but you have a wider audience, and don't throw that away.
How are you doing for audiences? You're
good. I mean, I'm doing the free Fringe, so they come.
Yes.
And
I was going to say you're in a pub.
I'm in a pub. This is fascinating. You were asking about, do people turn up drunk? I started my first solo show was here, and it was nearly 11 p.m. And I went, that's not quite for me. So the following year I did 9 p.m. Oh, they're still quite lively. 8 p.m. Weekends are difficult. I've now gone down to 6:15 p.m. and I've done that for the last 4 or 5 years, and they're not that drunk, apart from on Saturday, where you get the determined, and it's just a little pocket. But I'd like to call them responsible day drinkers.
Saturday at the Fringe is like airport rules. It's like, if you're in an airport, it's like neutral ground. There's no like 12 o'clock canon. Like,
I
now
love
it's
that.
okay to start
we
drinking.
are. Well, also for a lot of people, going to the Fringe is an excuse to start drinking at 11 a.m. So we are exactly like the Wetherspoons at Stansted Airport.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure that's the slogan they'll go with next year, but we'll see. You never know. You got some nice stars on your flyer.
I collect stars. I love them. Yum, num, num.
How do you get on with those? How do you deal with people coming and giving their opinions on?
I used to, as every young comedian does, go, I need a 4-star review and then everything's going to be okay with my show, with my life. And then as I get older, I'm in my mid-40s now, a review, if it's good, and I have to say generally they're good these days because I've been doing this shit for 20 years, it's great, but I don't let it peak my mood too much, because I know that if it's a bad review, I don't want it to trough my mood too much.
I think social media has been great because it has opened up a little bit more of a, admittedly both ways, but it's opened up the ways for like an audience member to just easily kind of send you a message.
Oh, the Twitter messages. I mean, the audience reviews on edfringe.com
Yeah.
are so good.
I was saying the other day
you
that-
don't have to pay some cocaine addict from London £2,000 a year to get those people to review you, because there's so much money sloshing around.
Other PRs are available.
Other PRs are available, but there's a lot of money sloshing around, and I get emails in July going, if you spend us 50 quid, we'll definitely review you. And I go, that shouldn't be how it works at all.
No.
But it is, sadly.
Well, it
And I
can
refuse
be.
to play that game, which is why I've got very few reviews.
And I think, you know, so long as everybody refuses to do it, then that might die out. But
That's not going to happen,
that's
is
not
it?
gonna happen because
Yeah. Try unionising
now I know
comedians.
now I know you're not doing it. I know that I'm going to get.
Yeah, my 50 quid will
Exactly.
work.
Yeah, I noticed on the Fringe site, they've actually, just by default, the audience reviews come up first. You actually have to click a tab
Yeah, I
to go
think
to
that's
the
good.
professional
I think that's good.
reviews. Because it does mean a lot. Like we've had professional reviews that you take the pressure on. But we've also had, then you get one email from somebody who said, I saw your show and it really moved me.
And it's beautiful.
Like, that's all I did
And
it
that's
for.
not something, because the difference between a professional reviewer and an audience review, because of the proliferation of these web-based publications, no paper was harmed in the making of them. It is literally, I'm a reviewer, and by saying you're a reviewer, you become one.
Yeah.
Whereas an audience member who posts a review, there's no real difference in the qualifications at some
No.
levels. There are a few reviewers out there that you go, you know, if this person likes my show, that will be a life-changing review. And by life-changing, I mean for the duration of these 3 weeks. But most publications, a bad review can disappear, and a good one, you'll stick it on your poster. I've done it. Thank you, Jeff.
I worked in amateur theatre for years.
Right.
And it really rankled me that there seemed to me to be no difference between amateur and professional, apart from, you know, the amateur doesn't get paid and the professional loses money on
Well,
most
what's
things.
lovely, because of the internet, it's lovely, and for me as a professional of some 20 years experience, also quite annoying, is that a YouTube sensation comedian isn't a professional. They just make some stuff, and if it goes viral, they then become catapulted into professional because people want to pay to see what they do. Whereas I came at it in the old days the other way round, is that you keep being awful and not getting paid, and then eventually you get good, and then you can monetize it.
What do you like doing in Edinburgh while you're up here?
Well,
Apart from your show.
Things I like to do to get away. I've had a swim in the sea at Portobello, which was
Nice.
fantastic. Usually I would swim regularly, but the Commonwealth Pool has been hosting some events, so they've closed it. So I've been doing yoga.
Okay.
This year's mantra, yoga not Jaeger, and it's been really good. I've not been drinking, I've been doing yoga with a wonderful New York-based comedian called Abigail, and so it's like slightly amusing yoga over at the Underbelly. Each Saturday I get my takeaway curry and I lock myself away from all of the noise and the madness, and I just watch Match of the Day. And I find that a nice little relaxing sanctuary as well.
Is it because we're getting older?
Yes.
Is it because we're incredibly professional? Yeah, it does seem to me like a lot of people we've been talking to this year have been talking about meditation and yoga, and these are things that would not
have happened
10
in the
years ago,
old
would not
days.
have washed.
But also, when you're in your 20s, you can get absolutely maggoted the night before and then do a reasonable job the next day. But as you get older, your ability to process poisons, let's not forget that alcohol is a powerful neurotoxin, and you go, no, I better not do that because I'll be useless the next day. And that's unfair to the people who come to see me.
So you're proper professional now.
I'm being a bit more, as I get older, I get more professional each year. I think also because there's so many more comedians. If you don't deliver, someone younger and hungrier will.
Yeah. And they will be hungry.
They will be hungry. Everyone's hungry.
Because they've not seen a vegetable since July, presumably.
That's a myth. I've been to all of the major supermarkets now, and again, when we were gathered in a tent 25 years ago, not a vegetable to be seen. We would get by on cigarettes was food.
Yeah.
When we first came to the Fringe, but these days food is food, and it's far better for you.
Yeah, I mean the standard of food around here is actually really good. Like the street
I'm
food.
excited. We're going for a lovely seafood meal tonight. I've found my Indian restaurant that I want to actually lift up by the foundations and take with me back to London. They're so good.
Deliveroo would probably bulk at a...
I imagine it would be a little bit tepid.
Yeah.
But you'd tip the guy with his massive calves if he'd cycled all the way down the A1.
Like just the street food, like the vans and stuff. In the
Oh my
old days,
goodness,
you just get like
yeah.
chips and stuff. But now it's properly
Well,
healthy,
there is,
good
and also
food.
fancy.
Yes.
I had a lobster roll on some cobbles. It was
Is that what you call a bread roll?
it was a bread roll, but they'd put a sort of lobster mayo paste in it,
Nice.
and then chips as well. So it was a little bit fancy.
I'm hoping to get a sponsorship deal with the gourmet Scotch egg van that's down by the Bedlam.
My gig is right
Tip
by
there.
the Scotch egg people. Are they good? I walk past it daily.
I haven't used it yet, but I
you
am
like the idea of a
determined,
gourmet
and
Scotch
I do
egg.
enjoy the idea. And it's a Scotch egg, so go local.
So is it a ostrich egg? Is it enormous? Or
I
a
don't know.
little quail's egg?
And to be honest,
it can't be a chicken egg because that's not gourmet.
I don't want to ruin it by finding out. I just want to have my
Bite
dream
into
of what
it
might
and
be.
it's caviar. Thousands of eggs.
You seem like a very happy-go-lucky sort of guy. Do you ever get down like?
Oh, my show is about dealing with the dark times. So again, not always, but we're doing an interview, so of course I'm going to be quite chipper.
What do you do to lift yourself?
Talk to friends, something I never used to do.
Right.
I don't want to lift bits out of my show, but I realised nearly too late.
I do, because I don't want to come and see it. So,
Oh, fair enough. I'll do
please.
the whole thing now. I'll send you a DVD. I realised in my 20s and 30s I didn't really talk properly to people. It was either banter or meaningless guff about sports. And it was only as I got older I went, there's a load more things to talk about that I shied away from. And as you get older you go, be careful or you're going to die and you won't have spoken to people truthfully. And also seeing my dad gradually have dementia engulf his brain. And there's so many things you want to talk to about your dad as you get older and wiser, and you go, I want to know if this was your experience. And I can't talk to him now because he's locked away with this disease. He can't make any sense anymore. So I suppose it's a way of making up for that lost time with my peer group, with my friends, with my family, with my lovers. Yeah.
And that's, I think that's a great place to end this
Brilliant.
conversation, because that is the focus of exactly what we're
Fantastic.
hoping we'll do. People talking to each other more and opening up.
Yeah.
It's been great to meet you. Thank you
Absolute pleasure.
very much for coming on. We're just going to have some meaningless banter about sports now. So
How about that team you like?
Absolutely. How's that sports team? So we'll be back with more guests tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because that's what the kids are doing. And you don't want to get left behind. Go out there, have fun, stay hydrated, and we'll see you again.